Hey there, it's maddiemarcksherk with the Batey Westerlund Team at Premier Sotheby's International Realty here in Southwest Florida. Today we're going to talk about what the current market in Southwest Florida is looking like, what the real estate market's looking like specifically, what to expect, and whether or not you should buy a home in 2025. In this video, I'm going to talk about the current trends and factors for these trends that we're noticing, and then looking at some of the statistics that kind of back up this information. Ultimately, I think it's important for every buyer and seller to be informed of the market, what we're noticing. Of course, not everything I'm saying is going to be pure fact. A lot of them are going to be facts and data pulled from the internet, but a lot of it is going to be trends and just observations that we're seeing in the market. So it's really important that I share everything that I know, because if I were buying a house or selling a house, I would like to know some of this information as well. So starting off strong, the trends in the market. Currently, we're noticing a bit of a correction. As we all know, 2021, 2022 was kind of an insane season, years where things were flying off the shelf for record prices. Of course, we have corrected. It's starting to correct. Prices are coming down steadily. It's not a hard drop off. Nothing crazy is happening, but they have come down. One thing that we notice in this area, in this demographic, just across the board, is a lot of these people that live here, often it's their second or third residence. To us, this means that people aren't desperate or needing to sell their properties as much as some other areas in the United States or North America in general. It's typically pretty common where you see a person who buys a home and is looking to upgrade, needs to sell this other home in order to go, and so they're willing to do what needs to be done in order to move the property a little bit more quickly. Here, people are tending to offload their properties and are not needing to reduce their price drastically and needing to sell. Of course, that still happens and it's very common in the real estate market in the general sense, but in this area, a lot of people are waiting for that buyer to pay the price that they feel that their home is worth. And this can be a bit of a challenge, and homes don't sell as rapidly this way, but it's just a common trend that we've noticed. Inventory has risen across the board. There are more homes on the market to look at for buyers to observe, and this is great for buyers as they can take a look at everything out there and make educated and not rushed decisions. Additionally, the inventory itself that we're noticing on the market is the quality of them are not necessarily poor quality, but a little bit outdated. There's a lot of homes that are on the market that people bought 20 years ago that have not updated it and are looking to sell. So on the market right now, there's a lot of inventory, but specifically there's a lot of outdated inventory. People that are looking to move here or buy here for a vacation home do not want a project. So these residences tend to stay on the market a little bit longer. Not too many people want to come down on their vacation to fix up or remodel or update their new condo or home that they're looking to just relax in. So if you are looking specifically to update a residence, it's not a bad time for buyers to buy if that's what they're looking for right now. There's a lot of them, there's lots to choose from, and people are tending to get a little better deals when it comes to a little bit outdated property. Again, there's a lot of nice, outdated, well-maintained property, but many people are looking for something they can move right into. The days on the market have increased as well. This meaning that homes are staying on the market for longer across the board, almost in any community that you look at. So they are not selling in 5 days or 10 days that frequently, unless they're priced under market value and people are noticing that and jumping on it. Typically, homes are sitting for significantly longer than they were in the past. So we're going to jump into factors that influence a lot of these trends that we're noticing. Number one is going to be insurance and hurricane related concerns for buyers and sellers. So the insurance has risen specifically in condos, home insurance, flood insurance, with the natural disasters that have occurred over the last several years. This is just common. Insurance companies need to cover themselves, while in the past several years there's been a lot of insurance claims filed for flood damage, wind damage, whatever it might be. Some people are finding that it's not worth it to live in Florida and pay these fees, but many still find it very reasonable simply because they get to live in paradise every day. But even if you're not in a flood zone necessarily, sometimes if you're more inland, you're still paying higher insurance. And things that factor this is typically how close you are to the water, flood zone, but also the age of your home and the roof on your house. And these are all big factors that go into it, but that's a story for another day. But insurance is a big factor, as to the slowdown. Hurricane factors as well. You may have heard of condo codes and the potential assessments that might be down the road for condo owners of older condos that are higher than 3 stories high. I'm not familiar with all of the legal jargon that goes into that, and there's not a whole lot of information that's very cut clear on everything. But we do know that there may be some influences and factors that may make it more challenging and cause older condos to stay on the market a little bit longer, simply because they need to be more up to date and follow the more recent stringent codes in order to protect the people that live in the homes. We're not seeing anything drastic or major that's going on quite yet. We just don't know what that looks like moving forward. Additionally, interest rates, as this demographic typically doesn't always finance in Southwest Florida. There's fewer finance deals than most other areas, but interest rates have been a little bit higher. Although we have seen a little bit of a correction, they still will play a little bit of a role moving forward, depending on if they go up, down. Additionally, we are in an election year, and just around the corner is the new election. This ultimately is a distraction, and when it comes to distractions, people are not eager to buy and sell real estate. Their priority is to find out what's going to happen and just have some predictability as to what the future holds. Typically, who gets elected does not determine if people will buy or sell, but just typically people like to know what's going on with the country, and just have some answers before they move forward with a big decision such as buying and selling real estate. So we predict that after the election, everything kind of settles down. There will be a sense of urgency to buy at the end of this quarter, the 2024 quarter. Additionally, you may have heard of the new settlement for realtors in all of the United States. This is something that has changed more recently, completely this year, but it's a national thing. I'm not going to touch too closely on the legalities of all of that, but there are buyer representation agreements that need to be signed for realtors before they show any buyers' homes, basically outlining that should the seller not pay a commission, that the buyer is willing to. We haven't seen anything too crazy change the outcome for a lot of buyers and sellers with these changes, but you never know, the uncertainty of that could come with that down the road. Lastly, we're noticing that newer construction is becoming more appealing, moving more inland is becoming more appealing simply because of the hurricanes that have happened. People feel a little bit more comfortable in newer builds with lower insurance rate and further away from the water. They're willing to drive to the beach instead of being right on the beach. So these are all factors that are going to continue to play a role in the coming year or more. Now I'd like to dive a little bit into the statistics and the data from the Southwest Florida MLS system. I'm pulling data from the years 2022 to present, and specifically through January through September each year, because we have not reached all of the data for this year, October through December. So we're gonna keep it consistent January through September of 2022, 2023, and 2024. I'm gonna pull data on 3 communities: Pelican Bay in Naples, Bonita Bay in Bonita Springs, and Wild Blue in Fort Myers. These are just a snapshot of communities, so just take it with a grain of salt, because this does not mean it's the case for every single community, but just 3 significantly attractive communities with a lot of homes. So Pelican Bay in Naples, the homes were originally built starting in 1980 and then some up until present day. If you look at the homes sold, we're going to pull up a chart here. Homes sold have decreased significantly. We've noticed average sale price has been fairly consistent across the board. The average days on market have increased quite substantially year after year. New listings have also increased, specifically in 2024, so there's a lot more on the market. And then if we take a look at this sale price by original list price, this means the homes they were originally listed for versus what they've sold for. So in 2022, they sold for pretty much exactly what they were asked for. 2023, they sold for about 96% of what they were expected to go for, and then this is for 2024, about 93% of original list price. So we've noticed that they're not selling for the dollar that they're necessarily always being posted for. So this just shows the correction in the market, that homes are not selling for top dollar anymore. Moving on to Bonita Bay and Bonita Springs, homes were built here in about 1985 up until present day, so a little bit older homes as well, similar to Pelican Bay. Homes sold have increased a little bit, but have been pretty steady across the board. Average sale price, there was a spike in 2023. I do think this is influenced by the brand new construction luxury high-rise that was in there. I think that's the influence of the 2023 prices there. And then 2024, it has increased a little bit compared to 2022, but nothing substantial there. Average days on market have increased the last couple years, and new listings have also drastically increased here in 2024. There's a lot more listings in this. And moving on to sale price divided by original list price, 101% in 2022, 95.5% in 2023, and then closer to 91% in 2024. Again, that's a pretty consistent trend across the board. Lastly, Wild Blue is in Fort Myers, and they were built starting in 2019 to present day, so much newer homes, and they're all single family homes. There's much fewer homes that have sold this year, but we have noticed that average sales price has increased year after year there. Of course, there could be a bunch of other factors, but my prediction based on these numbers is that these newer construction homes are a little bit more desirable now after the insurance has increased, and this being a little bit further away from the water, we're noticing that the average sale price has increased. Days on market have also increased, similar to the other communities, so that's just a consistent trend we're seeing. And new listings year after year have stayed pretty steady across the board. Sale price by original list price, they have also decreased. So 100% in in 2023 it was about 92%, and then in 2024 we're looking at around 91%. So that is consistent amongst all three communities that we've talked about as well. I want to take a note that these three communities that we're looking at this data for are homes that have sold only. There's a lot on the market that are on the market for much longer than these average days on market days. So these are just for the homes that have sold specifically. The biggest challenge moving forward, I think, are going to be for sellers with condos that are older and higher built, those on the water, those who are in flood zones, evacuation zones. Beachfront property, I think, are going to have a bit of a challenge selling and might be a good opportunity for buyers moving forward. Especially, we talked about the outdated homes, the homes that they're ready for a refresh, they're ready for a makeover, they're ready for updating. If you're somebody that's looking for that, I think that now is a good time to buy for that. Anyways, I hope this information was useful, helpful, informative. I think it's important to understand what's going on in the market, what we're noticing, so you have the best information whether you're buying, selling, or just interested in the real estate market in Southwest Florida. If you have any questions specifically, please shoot me an email. I'd love to hear from you. If you have questions about certain communities, where the best community might be for you, or if you have any questions on the items talked about today, I'd be happy to answer them. Again, this is MaddieMarcksherk with Premier Sotheby's, and I look forward to hearing from you, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.